This is Jack, and this is a showcase video of an NPM package that I've made recently. It's a very small NPM package, but it's called Create Lazy Object. And what is the purpose of Create Lazy Object? Well, it's to provide a utility to create objects that look like normal objects, but the properties are lazily computed when they are accessed. So a use case for this could be a context in a backend server. You can create a lazy object, and only the services that need certain parts of the object will invoke the work to create the data on the object when it's needed. So this provides the opportunity to create very large objects with a lot of class instances or something for every request, and only when the property is accessed will the class be created and assigned to the object. So what I'll do is I will first import create lazy object, and it's called create lazy object. And the first thing we do to create the lazy object is I'll just create a random variable called object, and we'll call it as a function. And inside of the lazy object, this is where things are a little bit different. So I could create a new property called lazy, for example. It could be whatever you fancy. And instead of a value, we will provide a getter instead. So it'll be lazy, and then we can pretend that there's a really expensive function in here, or something not so expensive, but this property is one of many, and so the sum of the whole object is expensive. But I'll just return something like hi from it. So create lazy object has created us an object that looks like a normal object, but it isn't. It's lazily evaluating this lazy property. So if I do console.log and we see what we get in the terminal, we'll be able to see that it just says hi. So it's as if there was no function here, and it was just lazy and hi as a direct value. The advantage to this, if I replace hi with something like math.random, then what we'll find is if I log this multiple times and then rerun the application, then you'll see that the value of the property is persisted or cached in a way. And again, it's like math.random was called once on the object and it's a normal object, but it only did math.random when I needed to access that property on the object. So that's the gist of create lazy object. You can imagine that there could be more expensive things, or you're creating a lot of classes. Say, for example, in a GraphQL backend, you might want to have loads of data loaders on your context. So you'll create a lazy object, and then in the context, only the classes that are needed are instantiated. So it can be quite handy to boost performance in your backend. Although it has to be said that for smaller backends, it's probably negligible, and I wouldn't worry too much about it. But at least the option is there when things start getting a bit heavier. There is a really easy way to create lazy objects. So that's the first method, that is create lazy object. The other method is injecting a lazy property into an existing object. So if I create an object again, and I'll just make it empty to start with, what you can do is inject a lazy property onto it. So there's another utility called inject lazy prop, and inside of here we'll do inject lazy prop. We will pass the object that we want to inject into. the name of the property, so I'll call it lazy, and then the getter that creates the value of that property. So again, I'll do math.random like this. So this has been done before in other libraries, but what sets this library apart is the type safety that you get with it. Just by calling inject lazy prop, we actually have on the object itself the lazy property exposed. And if I comment this out, you'll see that lazy no longer exists. So there's almost a magic, it's almost magic how this works. And if I call another one, I can do lazy2, and then the next thing you know, object now has lazy and lazy2. So TypeScript is aware that we're injecting lazy properties into the object, and it's created these lazy properties on the type. And when I call lazy2, we'll console log it, then we will get a value like that. And again, because it's lazy, the math.random is only called when you access lazy2. So if I copy and paste it again, it will cache the first instance and then persist the value again. Yeah, so you see here, it's not regenerating the random number. So yeah, that is it. This package is very small, one file, no dependencies. Didn't take me too long to make, just thought it was quite handy. And yeah, I guess that is it. Thank you for watching.